Hi, welcome back to Let's Open and Talk. I am Allura in my squeaky chair. We are back. I wasn't going to do a video today just because I was being a lazy day and it's been a long, hard week and I've had, don't know if I mentioned it in my other videos, but I suffer from some major head concussions that have toppled on top of each other. And about 2 years ago, I was in another car accident that gave me a severe concussion, and it just kind of made all of those concussions, as the doctors say, flare up. So I have days where I just have a rough day where I gotta lay in the quiet room and be still and quiet. So kind of still recovering from one of those days, but and it was our first kind of like cold, rainy, wintry day outside, so I was just kind of being a chillin', not just being a chill pill today, but I felt led to come down here and do a video for you guys. And we're gonna I think where we ended last time is I encouraged you all with the self-love list to write out a list if you think you are already in self-love. So ask yourself questions like, do you enjoy being with yourself? Can you say no or no thanks without being without the guilt or having to explain yourself? Just a list like that. Those were some of the examples. Can you speak to yourself in a loving way? Can you speak about others in a loving way? Do you truly accept all of you, even your flaws? Can you accept the bad choices that you've made in the past or current days? Can you take responsibility for your choices? Things like that. So I guess today we're going to talk about words, and I want to bring up the phrase, or I guess it's more of a poem, or, oh my gosh, that's really squeaky, I'm sorry. The phrase, sticks and stones may bruise and hurt my body, but words will never hurt me. And I'm pretty sure a narcissist wrote that. Or a very karmic, toxic person that hadn't healed yet. Because they're doing several things at once. They're teaching us that physical harm is okay as long as it's just bruises. Also, I can call you names and put you down and it's not, and that's okay because words don't hurt. And if they do, you're just playing the victim. I'm going to bunny trail on that. I hate when your abuser tells you you're playing the victim. I've had it done to me, but I've also had to witness others be told that by somebody who's very abusive to them. And this can, again, go male or female. Words are a powerful tool. That is why we call them spelling. They are spells. You're casting spells. And I'm not saying in a witchy way, but you are releasing spells into the universe. You are praying. So pretty much every time we are speaking to one another, think of it as a prayer and a manifestation. So are you doing that in love, or are you doing it in just, spur of the minute of whatever emotion you're feeling? I'm just going to say it and talk it. Because words don't hurt people, and it's just, it's just a name. I didn't mean it, or I hate this one. Oh, I just was joking. I'm just kidding by calling you a pussy, or I don't know if I can say that on here, but I guess they'll edit me if so. But seriously, I hate that. Oh, I was just joking. No, you weren't. And if you were, you overstepped it. And if somebody's telling you that hurt their feelings, then stand up and take responsibility and say, I'm so sorry. Thank you for letting me know. I'll work on that. That's another loving way to speak. You don't, continue to put the other person down because they're telling you that your words hurt them. That's why I hate that poem. And I don't hate things very much. I don't like hating, but I do hate that poem because it's teaching people things that aren't true. I would bet money that a narcissist wrote that, because narcissists would tell you that words don't hurt and don't take it seriously. Well, words are energy. Words are a tone. That's a vibration that we're speaking out. And we are also vibrations. So yes, words do affect us. Not only do the words affect us, words are spoken out, and because they are a vibration and a tone, so it's like a tone of music. That's what I wrote in my book, that it's a tone of music what we're speaking. So we can speak in anger and harshness, or we can speak with love and calmness, or we can talk in an excited way. It's just like a song. It's a rhythm. It's a tone. That is sent out into the universe, and it goes and goes and goes. You can't erase it. You can't take it back. You can't rewind and change what you said. And once you've said something to somebody, that does stick. And that's what we're going to focus on tonight. I'm going to talk to you about going inward and learning how to heal yourself from what people have said to you in the past, and how to release that. You're going to cut those cords of anything that has hurt you in the past or been holding you back, even yourself, with your own words. I can do this. I still am working on it. I'm guilty of it. I know it's a hard one for me, and I probably, you know, it's going to be a struggle, but as long as I'm mindful of it, I can now make that a better priority for me to really watch what I'm saying. Not about others. I don't have a problem with that. It's about myself. And as everybody knows me, they know that I'm a very upfront person. What I say to your face is what I'm going to say behind you. What I say behind you, I will say to your face. I'm not a gossiper. I don't have a problem telling you what I think or feel. Gotten better at, you know, holding it into the appropriate moment, but I'm a very straightforward person. I have gone through a phase where I was bad with my words, and I'm not going to go into that again. That wasn't a person I was proud of. It was a person that was hurt and hanging out with bad crowds, and even associated with them, that it does rub off on you. So I've had to clean up my energy again, and we can. But I do know that you don't want to get stuck in thinking that words aren't hurtful and I can just speak out whatever I feel because I have the right. And yes, we should express our emotions, but even expressing our emotions should be in a loving, calming manner. It doesn't need to be in a hateful way. It doesn't need to be in an angry way. And it's okay to be upset and angry. It's not okay to act out in anger, and it's not okay to speak out in anger. You always regret it. You always say something that you can't take back. And I know there's not one person on this planet that hasn't done that. So it's just something we work on. But with today's society teaching us that words don't hurt, and now we've taught everybody just how to communicate with by their phones. So people nowadays even have a hard time having conversations. The give, the take, allowing others to talk, and then you have your turn. You know, it's sad. We will save that for another time. Bunny trail. There goes my ADHD. So we're going to go back to the words. This can even be proven if you want to try this at home with your kids or just for yourself. It's really interesting. I did this with my boys, and they loved it, and they couldn't believe the changes that in this experiment, which was, and you probably heard of this, taking two glasses, you try to get the same glass, you know, identical glasses, pour water into them from the same jug, and on one glass you're going to write love or loving, however you want to put it, positive. On the other glass you're going to do negative or harsh, anger. And for a week, excuse me, for a week what we did in the morning, afternoon, and night, and we just said a few phrases, doesn't take long, and we stored these glasses in the same area too. The only time that they weren't in the same spot was when we were talking to them. And we would just bring it down on the counter, and then I would put them back in the fridge. So they were all stored in the same, area. That it's not, it was really interesting. So on the loving one, we would talk to it in loving ways. We told it, we appreciate the water, we love you, you're beautiful. Just everything that you would say to your child, almost anybody that you love. And the negative glass, we would call it names, we would put it down, you're not worth it, I don't love you, I hate you, you're stupid. We would also make jokes to the water, because I needed my boys to learn this. I wanted them to see that it's not okay to make jokes of people. It's not okay to make fun of others or put them down or call people names. And it is such a good visual way to do this. After a week, that negative glass became negative. It became nasty looking. It had algae growing in it. And this is the first time I had done it too. I was kind of surprised. I was like, wow, that is sad. It almost made me sad for the water. And the loving glass, I swear it almost looked more crystal clear. It sparkled, like we couldn't have proven it, but it looked better. If not, it stayed the same. It was drinkable. It was fresh tasting. The other water you wouldn't drink. It was kind of, you kind of felt bad in the experiment, because we literally turned the negative water into crummy water by our words. And I just want that image in your head. Just like, I kind of drew a quick picture, but like our soul. When we're talking to ourselves, when we talk about ourselves, when we talk about others, even behind their backs, which is a huge no-no. If you got something to say to somebody, just say it, speak it to them. Speak it to them in loving. Speak it to them in caring. Because even in the back of somebody, that vibration is going out, so you're still saying crummy things about somebody. It's not good. And what does crumminess do? It just does a circle. It keeps people in the same mode. Have you noticed that? Like with depression. I mean, I suffer from some depression myself, and I know I get it because I just have to let the emotions roll, but I've learned how to control it and release it. But when depression comes on, or negative energy, what does it do? It just stays. It makes you stay in a frenzy. You can't think clearly. You're down. It's not pushing you forward, is it? It's holding you back. It's holding you down, and it's in here. You just feel it almost. So in my heart, which I'm going to call our soul, it's not where our soul is, but that's the form of it. I'm going to give it a heart. I put hate, stupid, mocking, and it's just like all of these bad energy. It's all stuck in here, right? When we are saying loving things to people about ourselves, it shoots forth. It jumps out. It shoots like light and energy. The energy then sparks forth, and it goes from one person to another, right? And negative energy does that too, but it's kind of in a more dark way. So if you want to be free inside and not feel pulled down all the time and stuck in your head going over and over like, I'm never going to make it, I'm not worth it, I'm stupid, I'm not good enough. Those are all negative, bad, trash talk. And I've been really bad at it. I've gotten way better. But it's still something I work on just because of, my background, my upbringing. And I think that's why it was so important for me after my divorce with my boys to teach them that words are mental abuse. They can be mental raising, or it can be mental downgrading. So you have to be careful about what you do, and I want to help you if you struggle from some mental abuse. Mental abuse is very real, and it can happen to male or female, just like physical abuse. If you don't release all that hurt and hateful words that have been said to you, if you don't release that from being in you, it's just going to stay there, and you're going to stay in this awful thought process about yourself. You're going to keep those negative thoughts everybody has said to you And they just keep going like this. There's no, let's shoot them out into the universe so the universe can take that negative energy and it sends it away. And that's gonna be one of the boundaries. That was one of my boundaries when I wrote out my list was, do I talk to myself or about myself in loving ways? And I was like, no. Nope, failed that one. I failed all the ones about self-love, but that was many years ago. I think I've gotten a lot better at it. But that was something I was getting, like, I started being somebody I wasn't proud of just because I had hung out with some people that weren't the best. They had some toxic ways, and I wanted to save them. Like, usually that's what people without self-love do. We want to save everybody and give them that love because we know what it feels like to not have it, but we haven't even done it to ourselves yet. You can't help heal others unless you heal yourself first. You cannot start teaching others until you teach yourself self-love. You can't say, here's an example, but don't do what I do, but I'm going to give you all this advice. And then on the, when they leave, you talk about yourself, or you do crummy things, or you do the very opposite of what you just coached somebody on. That's because you haven't healed and you're not in a self-love energy. So if you feel like you're always trying to save others, or you're bringing others into your life that you're always trying to help or push forward, that's another good reason to stop and look at yourself and go, why am I in this mode? Is it because that is my calling and I have healed and that's what I do? I'm a self-coach or a healer. Great, that's awesome. Then you're probably not needing to watch my channel. But if you're not in self-love, and you haven't even healed yourself from all of your own traumas from the past, or adult traumas, anything that's happened that's traumatized you and toxic inside you, you probably need to take a pause moment and say, wow, maybe I need to spend some time alone and start healing myself. Maybe I need to start just telling my friends, I'm going to do some me time now. I'm going to focus on me so I can be that me that I'm pretend to be or talk about. But let's actually start doing the action in it. So words. I'm also gonna honestly, sincerely tell you, if you don't think words are powerful or harmful, I can also tell you that as somebody who grew up with very mentally abusive and physical abuse, it wasn't the physical abuse that was hard to forgive and heal from. It was the mental abuse. And that goes for my marriage too. I was always told by him I was playing the victim, or anytime I expressed my feelings that he was hurting me by calling me, stupid, I'm just trying to make you push harder. It's like, well, you don't call people stupid to make them work harder. That's, I hate that reverse psychology. If you're not licensed for that, don't do that. That's just what a narcissist says, because they don't think words hurt because they are in so much hurt they haven't healed from, that they don't care. It's all about them and what they can empower themselves from by putting you in a mental downgrading place. Mental abuse is, for men and females that have gone through mental abuse, it is the hardest form to heal from, not even publicly, but also just, by themselves, because I don't think there's as much as awareness out there that there should be about it. I think a lot of states now are actually accepting and saying, taking mental abuse as an abusive action in court. but it's a lot harder to prove, and sadly, it doesn't leave bruises on the skin. Sadly, it doesn't show for others to see that you've been mentally abused unless you go behind somebody's closed doors and know what's going on in their house. So withhold judgments on people, because you never know what's going on behind closed doors. Some couples can, or people may look like they're doing great or wonderful, and you never know. There's like always 3 stories to a situation. And if you don't know all the facts, then you don't get to make judgments on people. That's a bunny trail. I'm going to get my ADHD back on track, but we're going to go back. Mental abusiveness is hard. I'm still healing from it, and it also taught me a pattern, and that's the hardest part for them, is most mentally abusers are not going to come to you and say they're sorry. I mean, you'll get the sorry for physical abuse, even if it's fake. They'll be like, oh, I'm so sorry, I hit you, here's some flowers, it's so stupid. But you can also prove it to others, because there's, you have bruises, or you have the hurts from it. Sometimes people get broken bones from physical abuse, so it's, people can see it. And if you don't know what you're looking for in a person, it's a lot harder to see the mental abuse. But if you've been in mental abuse, you can spot it right away, because you can see it in just how people hold themselves in regard. Can they look you in the eye, or are they always meek and mild? And that's, I used to struggle with looking people in the eye, because I felt so unworthy, and I had to always look down, and I still struggle from it. And I have a lot of friends and other people that I have coached and helped to get through things, and I know that they still struggle from the mental abuse, because when you have parents or a partner that's supposed to be your protector, your lover, your encourager, your teammate, the one that's teaching you how to be, because that's what parents are. We're supposed to parent and guide our children of how to be humans, loving souls in this world. And if they're telling you that you're stupid, you're never going to amount to much, or they blame you for why they're beating your brother and sister, it's your fault, you made me beat them by your behavior, you didn't answer the question right, so I'm going to smack your brother, that sticks with you. That doesn't just heal like a bruise or a broken limb, that heals, and you get over it. And I have spoken to other abused victims. I used to be a victims advocate, and the worst, everybody would always say, and they'd have both. They said, I'd rather take physical abuse any day over mental abuse. Okay, it's hard to prove. People don't believe in it, or they'll say, oh my gosh, I can't believe they act like that, because that's not how they are in public. He's such a sweet guy, or she's such a sweet lady. Again, you don't know what's behind closed doors. And 3, it takes years and years and years to get over mental abuse. And humanly, sometimes we don't always 100% heal from that. There will still be times that I get triggered by something, or just even watching somebody being treated horribly or something, that triggers me. And I've done a lot of self-healing over these last years. It's a constant thing. But if we're not in that state of knowing that we need to be aware of this, to even heal from this, it's going to stay in you. The bruises and broken bones, they fade, they go away. You may remember it, but it's not in a constant stirring of like the hateful words that are going around you. And now you say them about yourself. I'm stupid. I'm slow. I'm not good enough. They'll never pick me for the job, or I could never go out on my own and have my own work because I'm not good. It just keeps going and going and going. So what a great thing, and maybe we'll do that on the next one, is called cutting cords, releasing. I'm going to try to keep this one to 30 minutes. But this was on my heart, I guess, apparently, because I didn't even know I was going to talk about this tonight, but it came down in all my glory for you to see. I'm going to take these out for a minute. And let's go into a state of, on my boundary list, my first one is going to be, let's think of words. Do I speak about myself in a good way? And maybe some of you already have healed this part of you, and that, you know, it's easy. Some of us have already been really hurt in this area, so it's a little harder. And you'll have other parts where it'll be harder for you, where we can move faster. You know, we all progress differently because we all have different backgrounds. We all have different traumas. We all have different lengths and ways we heal. So this is never on your spiritual journey. It is not a competition. It is not a comparison of like where you're at compared to others. You know, I should be more far along in my healing because, you know, they went through this really fast. Well, maybe because this part was easy for them, but when they get to another part on the boundary list that we'll bring up, you know, the release and cutting cords, that might be harder for somebody. And forgiveness, because we're going to go through our boundary. You know, we wrote the list of, are we in self-love? And, you know, on that list, what we're going to now then take is that each thing we wrote down, you're going to make a boundary list to match it. So like, do you truly like yourself? Do you find yourself worthy? If not, you're going to make a list, and a list of, like, I'll use mine as an example. Do you find yourself worthy? Do you put your needs first? Like I said on the other video, we already know I don't. Do you forgive yourself? I've always easily been able to forgive anybody because I genuinely love people. We don't have to like what people are doing. We don't have to like their actions, but I can love people. I love them because I always want to see people do good. I want to see them succeed. You know, when I see others succeed, it just gives me this joy inside because it's like, yes, go for it. Because if they're making it, you know, that's going to help me move forward. It should be an encouragement. We shouldn't be competing with other people. We should be competing with ourselves. We should be judging ourselves. We should be competing with ourselves, but not others. We should be excited to see others move forward. So when I wrote, do you forgive yourself? Of course I said, no. And then I had to write my boundary list of my reasoning of what do I not forgive myself about? What is it that I am hurting myself by not forgiving myself for? And I have a long list. The examples that I was giving was, you know, I took everything as my fault because that's what I was raised to think. And then when you just are beaten down so much, you know, I kept thinking, why can't I get my husband to love me enough? Why can't I, you know, keep the house clean enough? I can't keep the garage clean enough. I can't keep the yard. It will be spotless, and he could find something wrong with it. And this isn't to put him down. This is just where he's at in his journey, and you know, maybe he's gotten better. That's, you know, I want the best for him. I want him to have a changed heart because I know, you know, I had to have a changed heart. I'm just saying, I always took it as my fault. Why can't I be better? And then I realized it's because, you know, I got to stop taking all that in, and I need to just forgive myself. And for things that I even, you know, I have done some stupid things. I did make some bad choices younger. I did, you know, hang out with friends, and I found out they were kind of, you know, in the gray of doing bad things. But I was like, well, you know, I wanted to be in, you know, that area because I had just gotten out of a divorce and I was tired of being so perfect. That didn't work because it sure as heck didn't get my parents to love me. I was perfect at everything they put me in, and it still wasn't good enough. You know, it was, or they just wouldn't even show up to my events, but they would make sure I had to do it, like ballet, or my sister did ballet. We had to be the best, but we just couldn't ever be that for them. So I held that into myself, and I also was realizing I wasn't forgiving that inner child of me. I wasn't forgiving that young adult that was trying to find herself and started hanging out with the wrong crowd. And I made some wrong choices with people. So I wrote all that out, you know, holding myself to it. And I couldn't believe how much my pen just kept going of things that I don't forgive myself, that I am blaming myself for. And then I went back over the list and I go, that's not your fault, but I'm going to take that. And so what you take is you take that energy. So I'm going to take an example is I made some wrong choices with friends. They weren't good, and I kept allowing them back in my life because even though I knew that I didn't trust them and I knew that they were probably going to hurt me again, it was also just like I felt like I had to forgive myself for that, and that was hard. So what I took is that I take myself inward, I close my eyes, I imagine that scenario. I'm a very imaginative person, so I can always see things. I see things very well in my head. That sounds silly, but so I take that memory, and what I do is I imagine myself with a white sword of light and truth and love. And I don't know if you know this, but anything we have a memory with or energy person with, that ties us to that memory. So there's an energetic link. Your energy tied to your parents, your energy tied to your children, a friend, anybody that you've linked with. And it can even be in passing. So you gotta literally each week take time to do your cord releases and forgiveness. So I take that moment, I take that friend, or that moment where I need to forgive myself, and I see the link of, like, I see myself with an energy line going to that memory. And I'm going to take my sword of truth and forgiveness, and I slash the cord of energy, and I release myself from it. And I take that release and I give it to the universe. And to me, I just immediately see and feel, and that you will feel this if you're doing this right and in a meditative calmness state. You'll let that energy cord go because you've cut it, and that goes to that person. Now that's that person's, or it can even be a place. You can have a link to a place. That place or person will now have, it's their responsibility because they have their own energy, but you are cutting your side. You're taking your energy back, and you're giving the hurt and forgiveness to the universe, and you're going to say, I forgive myself for allowing that person in my life. I forgive myself for my bad choices. I forgive myself for the bad words I said in anger or hate or jealousy or hurt. And just focus on it for a while, and you're going to see that energy release. You're going to feel a little bit lighter in your heart. And you may have to do this several times. There's times in a day when I was first trying to forgive my parents, it was hard, and I had to do it several times, 10 times a day, or even forgiving myself. If that memory came back or something hurt that comes back, you can instantly stop what you're doing and take that minute, and it doesn't take long. The more you do it, the quicker it gets, but you can see it, cut it, let it go, and say, I'm taking my energy back, and I do forgive myself. I did make a wrong choice, but I'm going to take the lesson that I was meant to learn from that so I can move forward without this negative energy, this energy cord, this link holding me back. So that's kind of, and a lot of people have different ways. My mom has a bowl, and she puts, now she may have to get on here and say it the right way, but if I remember right, she is literal. She likes to see it in life. So she has a bowl, and I think what she does is she has little rocks, and she'll take rocks and things that hurt her that day, or things that are bugging her. She picks a black rock for something that hurt her, and a different stone for each thing that she knows that she needs release. And she takes, I can't remember if she takes them out of the bowl or she puts them in the bowl, and that is now the universe's problem, and it's no longer her rock to carry, her burden to carry, because she's releasing that energy. So you can come up with your own way. We can talk more next time about cord cutting and energy cutting. But cutting words off that hang on you, that you feel bad about, or that others have said to you that you feel bad about, this is a very good beginning of cord cutting. And I said you're gonna feel a little bit lighter because you still have a lot of lists to go through, that we're gonna do that for each thing on your list. And that just think, each time you're doing this, just think how much lighter you're gonna feel. How much easier and better you're going to speak to somebody, because now you're thinking about it, and you've forgiven your past words and words that you've said yourself. You forgive yourself. I love myself. I'm going to start talking good about myself. I only speak of myself in loving manner. I only treat myself in a loving manner. That's a boundary, and I'm going to hold myself to it. That's your first boundary medicine that I'm giving you. You can pick something else first on your list if you want. It just was on my heart to talk about words tonight, and I didn't even know that. Because I came down here kind of like, well, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I've been lazy all day. I'm kind of feeling down. I miss my boys. I don't want to do this video. See, I tattle on myself. I don't look good. I didn't even brush my hair today. And I was like, nope, I'm just going to do it because I hear my spirits are, my spirit is telling me to go do it, and I'm going to just do it. Because I've learned to listen to my spirit now, even if I feel a little disgruntled about it, but I still do it because I have learned the hard way. When I don't listen to my spirit, it doesn't go good for me. That's another video for another day, and I think that's where we're at. So I guess words were on my heart tonight. I hope this is a good video, a meditation for you. We're getting kind of introducing you to cord cutting, putting boundaries down. But I just want you to maybe start this week, or whenever you see this video, it was the time and place meant for you, that you just start your next day. Go to sleep tonight telling yourself you love yourself. Tell yourself you forgive yourself. Even if you're not sure what it is, but you know you need to forgive yourself, or maybe you have too long of a list. Like mine was in the beginning. It was long, of all the things that I needed to let go of, There was a time in my life, even back, so my brother Isaiah Ocean, was in the Navy. He and I were very close. They used to call us the Irish twins. Man, we loved each other, but we also fought. But man, don't you pick on my brother. I know I can pick on him, but nobody else can. That's how he was with me. We were very linked. When he died in a car crash when I was 17. He had just turned 19. I became a very hateful person after my brother died. I hated God. I hated my life. And that showed in my actions for, there's about 6 months. I don't remember back then other than just being in hate and miserable. And I was not in a good place. And when people want to say that they're in, you know, when you are in the darkness, despair and depression, I've been there. And that was a hard place to crawl out. And it put a stint in my life, you know. It made me do something, you know, things that I shouldn't have done. And we'll save that for another video, because I feel like that's going to be something I need to speak out about too. But there were things back then that I did to myself, tried to do, that I needed to forgive myself, that I had never forgiven. And it wasn't just, it was in a lot of words. I hated myself. I said things to people that I had regretted. I told Chuck and, excuse me, I can't say that name, said a name, but some parents that I shouldn't have said, that I hated. Because I don't want to be in hate, you're just being as bad as them. But, you know, I did things that I needed to forgive and recover from and release, and I didn't realize, even though I had gotten over my brother, you don't really ever get over somebody's passing, you're always missing him, but he's here with me in spirit. But, you know, you learn to live with it, you learn to live with your actions. But I had never forgiven myself. I had never forgiven the words that I spoke at that time in my life, and I had to go back to that and let it go, and that was the biggest release. And even just over the last few years, you know, this battle over my boys, there's been hurtful things that have happened and said, and I had to forgive that. So forgiving yourself and talking about yourself in loving ways, words are very important. They should be in a loving manner. They should be an encouragement even to yourself. So if you can go to bed tonight, I guess whenever you watch this video, take time for yourself. It's going to be probably the best release you have, and one of the biggest steps moving forward into our self-love journey. And if you don't, I've been there. You're going to be stuck, or you're going to keep having tower after tower because you're not forgiving yourself, and that is one of the most important things, and you're not speaking in love with your words, and that's even to yourself. We are our own worst enemies. Now that phrase, I give an A+ to, because I have held myself back. I have hurt myself with my words. I have hurt myself with bad choices, all because I was not in this self-love. And that is why this book I'm doing, this video I'm doing, is so important to me, because it was never taught to me until the later years. Oh, I was like, I have so much catching up to do. But watch your words. I just feel like that's very important to say tonight or today, whenever you get this. Be very careful with your words and your thoughts, and let yourself finally bloom into that beautiful soul that you are. Let's start clearing out those nasty words that you've done to yourself on your soul. Let's get rid of those hurts and awful words from people that have hurt you. If you've been in an abused mental or relationship, it doesn't always have to be romantic. We can be in a verbal abusive relationship with friends, with co-workers, and we'll teach you how to build up boundaries for situations like that. But tonight, what you're going to do, or this moment, you are going to release the words from yourself. So I'm going to end with that, and I hope you all just have a good maybe hour to yourself and love yourself. I'm going to end with sending you love, joy, and peace, and may a lot of abundance come to you. And there is Thor at the end. That's all I have for you guys tonight. I'm sending you love, joy, and peace. May you be love and joy, peace to others, and love and joy and peace to yourself.